Welcome everyone, I'm Mika-chan, and today is a very special episode. Today I have a guest joining me in this discussion in relating to horror video games, popular ones at that. This special guest isn't just an ordinary one. She happens to be a moderator on the Konami Classics Discord and a bureaucrat on the Silent Hill wiki page as well. Give it up for Emmett.
Hello. I'm excited.
So please note this is our first time doing this, but we're both really excited. Part of this is being done in incorporation to all the Silent Hill buzz going around lately, but we wanted to share the love of the series. Mm-hmm. And who better than someone who is well known in the community?
Of course. Yeah, so my name's Emmy. I have been editing on the Silent Hill Wiki for almost 10 years, so that's very exciting. Next year will be my 10-year anniversary, so congratulations to me. And I'm just really excited, especially because I'm very excited for a potential reboot. So that's what we're here for, and hopefully it generates buzz, because that's the number one thing I want. I want Silent Hill to come back.
And that's hopefully what we're going to do here today as well. And if nothing else, we'll introduce some new people into the Silent Hill franchise and educate you into why this series is one of the iconic trifold of best occult horror video games out there. Mm-hmm. If you look on any best horror video game list, in even the most recent century, Silent Hill is one of the three that shows up on the board consistently.
Yeah, just the whole franchise in general, no matter what of horror, it is always like recommended. Unfortunately, it is an older series, so those of you that are more recent gamers or just have gotten into gaming, I want to say like in the past 5 years or so, Silent Hill's not really there. Of course, there are the ones for like the PlayStation 3, like Downpour, Shattered Memories, but those just don't hit as well as the old ones do. So,
I mean,
Team Silent really made the best games out there.
And we'll go over who Team Silent is and which games they worked on versus the newer ones that kind of hit the mark a bit. And yes, some of you guys might be the more hip gamers of epic graphics.
Yeah.
Realistic engine.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I would say the more like the more popular horror games of today is probably like Outlast. That's pretty. Resident Evil, all of the Resident Evils are being remade, especially for PlayStation. Those are super duper good. But
it's also one of the occult trio.
Yeah, exactly. So
if it is part of the occult trio, just saying, and you guys experience how great it is recently with the introduction of the remake of 2 and 3, just imagine in its day, if it's one of the trio, what about one of the other ones? Silent Hill. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're going to start with.
Exactly.
So, the first one we're going to start with was, of course, you got to start from the beginning. And the beginning is Silent Hill. Just Silent Hill. Nothing. No timeline, nothing. But Silent Hill, released in 1999. Right during the Y2K crisis. Just some current events during the time so you know what was going on with the hip young children that age. Anyway, so what would you like to say about the first Silent Hill?
Silent Hill, and we talked about this earlier, but is like the ancestor of Silent Hill. It's like a great game, but it's not ever recommended as like to play. Like one of the first games you have to play. I would say usually 2 or 3 are the ones that are the introductory games. But Silent Hill is like the ancestor of all of them. It's played on the PlayStation. You can get some mods for them on like PCs nowadays.
And when we say PlayStation, we mean the ancient
the
one.
the first PlayStation.
The little gray
yes.
one where the disc drive went like this.
Exactly. And if you're lucky, if you still have a PlayStation 2, you can play because they're backwards compatible.
And a few rumored PlayStation 3s are out there that you can do as well, as long as they are I believe it's the 60 and 80 gig. I own one of these, and yes, you can play your PlayStation 1 games on
Oh, that's awesome.
Hence why I still have my original Final Fantasy 7 through 9.
That's a good one. Yeah, so Silent Hill 1 is the ancestor of all of them. It's what started the whole thing. It's about Harry Mason and his quest to find his daughter who went missing, and it's his struggle through going through Silent Hill, and I don't want to say too much more without it spoiling, but it really started the whole franchise. And it's funny because it's also not the same plot, but the plot of Silent Hill 1 is one of the most important plots of all the game. Like, it will be referenced so much through 2, 3, 4, not 2 as much, but really 3, Origins, you know,
Shattered Memories.
Shattered Memories, definitely.
The
movies, of course. So the plot is like one of the most important plots there is.
So if nothing else, the biggest takeaway from it is at least the plot. And while we're talking about it, how about we sit here now and show you the trailer, the original PS1 trailer, so you can get an idea of the graphics. Enjoy. old yet?
Earlier when I said I've been editing for 10 years almost, I was like, oh, great. Yes, I do feel old. And especially because I grew up with these, I'm just like, oh boy. Like this series is what kick-started my love for horror. So like the person I am today is definitely through and through due by Silent Hill. I cannot name a better series to get me started.
So let me for a second take a step back from here and just bring up a personal question. How old were you when you first touched a PlayStation 1?
You know what's funny? I never owned a PlayStation 1. And it's because my mom was like very anti-gaming. And so the first...
Video games cause violence.
Yes, of course. She was very like anti-gaming. But the first thing I ever got is my brothers and I, the year that not Silent Hill, but the PlayStation 2 came out, that Christmas, it was like gifted to us to get a PlayStation 2. So, of course, I was the only one using it, except for Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo was the hype of that year. So, I remember playing that, but one of the first games that I ever played, I want to say like the first game I ever played on the PlayStation was Silent Hill 2.
I will have to say the same thing.
Yeah.
The first Silent Hill that introduced me to the series was Silent Hill 2. And it was one of those things, I had the opposite situation. My parents encouraged video games. I had a Super Nintendo, the Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
I think it is, and the Sega Genesis. Like, that's how old school. So the PlayStation 1 comes out, my dad had to get it. So he bought us a PlayStation 1. And I think I was about 7 or so. I want to say, I can't remember when I played it, because I'm in 90s, like 1990 is my birth year. Yes, I'm old. Sorry, you just found that out the hard way. But I can actually remember being 10 years old playing the first Final Fantasy VII on a PlayStation 1. And we had that PlayStation 1 until we got a PlayStation 2, and my parents sold my PlayStation 1 to GameStop for like $10.
GameStop, I know.
$10 for this.
You can't even get a good game with like $10. Just like, alright.
We bought, or I think they did it for 20, but they bought groceries with that $20 to feed us. So, just saying. But I have to say the same thing, yes. But back to the topic at hand. I just had to do where were you when this happened?
I was very young when I first played the Silent Hill series. I want to say I was about 11 years old when I like played Silent Hill for the first time, and I remember playing it, and I was so scared. I remember the first like moment of Silent Hill 2 after you like leave the rest stop and you're like going through the woods and all these like noises are like coming at, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've never felt fear as much as I did sitting like this close to the TV and just like that. I was like, oh, first little look into horror, and I was like hooked from the moment on.
So from here, we're not going to touch too much into Silent Hill 1 as the plot, because even though it's the main thing, but, Harry Mason trying to find his daughter, modern day, if you don't find your daughter, that's either an Amber Alert or Child Protective Services coming after you. But interesting tidbit fact, the Silent Hill franchise, while made in Japan, takes place in an American setting.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the first, I want to say that was one of the first, really stepping outside the normal Japanese comfort zone of sitting and playing, setting it in Japan. They were inspired by the Western culture at this point.
Yeah.
Because even though Resident Evil takes place in America too, theoretically, Silent Hill, the original Silent Hill, actually has a real life equivalent in the United States,
Yeah.
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So that's fun knowledge, like random trivia knowledge about the series.
Mm-hmm.
But, so from there, you can only go up from PlayStation 1 graphics.
Yes. Yeah.
So the next one is, I want to get the dates right, don't judge me. We have, and I'm going by the main franchise first. We'll talk about spin-offs in later, kind of. We have Silent Hill 2 released in 2001, the original release, not the added director's cut.
Mm-hmm. Not with like Maria's that was actually the PlayStation 2 like greatest hits version that they came out with, like the side story.
Was it, or was it the Xbox?
No, I think it was the PlayStation 2.
Because I know a lot of the Xbox ones, because I had the greatest hits of all of them. I never got the first release versions. But it seemed like the Xbox, for some odd reason, I guess people wasn't playing it enough or something, so they were encouraging it. They gave them a lot of the Director's Cuts edition.
Yeah.
Like with Fatal Frame, you got the Director Cut edition of 1 and 2 on the Xbox and not the PlayStation.
I don't know, honestly, because I was later to the Silent Hill franchise, so the games are already out. Like, I want to say I got into the series roughly around when Homecoming was released, so I'm a little later to the series. I know, but the games are already out, but yeah, Silent Hill 2, the greatest hits is the re-released one with like Maria's side story and like some other stuff too. I don't know about the Xbox because I'm a PlayStation girl. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a PlayStation girl.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I know like Maria's side story and all. I don't remember it on the PlayStation hits and all.
It's on there.
But what I want to say about this is don't quote us on this if it turns out we're wrong somehow.
It's okay. I misquote all the time. Even if you've ever talked to me on the Discord, you know, and I'm like, oh, that's true. Because I love this series, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't call myself like the pro, like I know every day. And trust me, I do know some people like that, and they're very cool people, but I just love the series for what it is.
Basically what she's saying is we are human, we make mistakes.
Yep.
And we can misremember information.
Yeah.
So I just want to
especially for a series this old, you know, and it's been
2011 versus 2020.
Yeah.
Give us some slack. We're not saying we are the knowledge guru of Silent Hill, but we are giving you the knowledge we can.
Yeah, like a fun little discussion about it so that you can hopefully also be interested in it too. Because I know a lot of people haven't really played it, and now they're seeing the Dead by Daylight and they're watching the films, which I think every true Silent Hill fan stay away from the films. Like, they're good.
I like them.
They're good, but they're not the best. Like, I would rather, for the plot and everything, I would rather go with the games.
Here's how I look at the films. I separate the source material from it and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, that's how you should enjoy every single video game movie.
Not just that, any film based off of something, you should enjoy it based off of that. Because they can get things wrong.
Yeah.
But on that note, so, how would you like to describe Silent Hill? Like a basic, like, little synopsis or summary of it?
Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2.
So Silent Hill 2 is about James Sunderland. He gets a letter from his dead wife, and she is asking him to return to Silent Hill, where she had so many great memories with him. And so it is James's journey from, from the beginning to go figure out what happened to his wife, why she's sending him to the city, and along the way you kind of like get like bits and pieces of what happened, and ultimately like the story of what's going on. And like it's hard to say what truly went on because none of the Silent Hills have canon endings, but you get the gist of what happens.
Basically, a lot of Silent Hill. You basically put together the pieces you're given and form a conclusion based on the knowledge you gain.
Yeah.
But don't you know, the dead can't write a letter. It's illegal.
Really?
It's illegal. Dead can't write a letter. It's illegal. Not really. I heard that.
I was like,
not really. It's just a joke from a animated Silent Hill 2 video. Like a flash video someone made. That's the best quote I've ever heard. That is their James's basically conclusion at the end of why his wife could not have.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It took me a minute. I was like, wait, no, I know what you're talking about. I've seen that. I'm really excited because I see like. We're gonna talk about it later. I know.
Talking about Newgrounds age.
I know. Even now, you can like. I remember some like old videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is.
That basically kind of gives you the idea or the general opinion of fans of James that he's an idiot. But with that being said, we will show our next trailer, Silent Hill 2. Enjoy.
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel? You said you took everything, but you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there. I'm not your Mary.
Taping again? Come on. I don't know why, but I just love it here. It's so peaceful. You know what I heard? This whole area used to be a sacred place. I think I can see why. It's too bad we have to leave. Please promise you'll take me again, James.
to their head.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? You don't sound very happy to see me.
What do you mean, just for that? Eddie, you can't just kill someone because of the way they looked at you. Well, yeah? Why not?
Why didn't you try to save me? All you care about is that dead wife of yours. I've never been so scared in my whole life.
Like that stupid dog. We had it coming too. girl like you doing here anyway?
Huh? Are you blind or something?
What's that letter?
None of your business. You didn't love Mary anyway.
Do I look like your girlfriend?
No, my late wife. I can't believe it. You could be her twin. Your face, your voice, just your hair and clothes are different.
My name is Maria. I don't look like a ghost, do I? Oh, it's you.
You're coming with me?
You were gonna just leave me
No, but
with all these monsters around?
no, I just.
I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real.
Well, you know what I have to say is an improvement over the other one? The music.
Yes. Yeah.
I think this game, out of all the other ones, and it's hard to say as a fan myself, because 3 is my personal favorite of all time, most fans rave and hold like a holy pillar 2 as the best one.
Yes.
And that is why everyone loves and raves about the best villain created in this series.
Yes.
Which we'll get onto that too. We'll do a whole villain spill at least on the main 4 because that's all that matters. So,
Yeah.
do you have any more thoughts or comments about 2 you want to mention?
No, not really. Except Silent Hill 2 holds a very special, dear place in my heart. I think there's a lot that
The
just
villain?
the villain really. Yeah. I mean, there are a couple of villains in there, but the main one, he really started this whole journey, and I do appreciate him being in the series. But
There's a limit.
yeah, there's a limit about how much you can use him, and also the type of Pyramid Head that is used, because Silent Hill 2 has the red Pyramid Head thing, and later on, when we talk about Homecoming also has him, and it's just...
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Or it's a continuity, not continuity, but what's it? Yeah, it's a continuity error.
Yeah, I mean, granted, the monsters are what everybody sees for themselves. So, if you and I were to go to Silent Hill, we would not be seeing the same thing. Because it is all what happened to us. though that the monsters are so similar, I can see it, but at the same time, it's like, it's so close. Like it would be a totally different monster, especially for Alex, who his story is so completely different from James. So Alex is from Homecoming.
We'll explain why there's an issue and why there's so much hate to that series shortly. When we get there, which won't be too long. I was going to say, and another aspect we'll be going in high depth about is the psychological aspect of the whole Silent Hill series, because while normal games try to just scare you by normal, like jump scares and different things like that, Silent Hill is considered a horror game series, and not just that, one of the first psychological horrors, and it's a huge thing with the entire franchise, which is really interesting. Once I found out all in depth about this, we hosted the panel about horror game villains, the occult ones, and it was information I learned during the panel, so it's amazing concept that I can't wait to share with you guys.
Yeah.
So you guys can be enlightened too. With that being said, we're going to go to my favorite of all the Silent Hill games, Silent Hill 3. Silent Hill 3 was released in 2003. Just think of that. We actually have a physical copy of it autographed.
Yeah, I have Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. She signed my copy. I love her. If you play, or if you watch Critical Role, she's actually in there. A lot of people don't know. She's like God, the goddess of Silent Hill. She is in charge of a lot of the music aspect of it, and oh, she's awesome, and she's such a wonderful, nice person to meet in real life too. So
Random trivia again. To just embrace. One thing I want to comment before we start diving into this title is the 2 was released in 2001, and then this one released in 2003. That's a 2-year turnaround for release. That is insane for that time period.
yeah.
I say it like it was released long ago, but you know.
I mean, even now, it's I mean, people will say games will come out, but how many times have we been told that it'll come out, that a game is announced, and then we're waiting 5, 10, 15 years for a game, and you're like...
It's announced and it actually comes out on its actual release date.
Yeah.
Fatal Frame... No, Final Fantasy VII, the remake, part 2, release date now, or I'm gonna be mad. Anyway, sidetracking beside, would you like to start on Silent Hill 3?
So,
I wonder why I'm asking that.
So, as you'll see in a minute, Silent Hill 3 is about Heather Mason, and I'm actually dressed as Heather right now, one of my favorite horror cosplays to do. Heather Mason is...
You're welcome.
Yes. So
Peer
Heather...
pressure.
Yes, after all the years of begging and hoping I can do one. But Silent Hill 3 is about Heather Mason, and it's her journey going through her Silent Hill, and I don't really know what else to say about it. It's very hard to say, but it's closely related to Silent Hill 1, and you learn that closer and closer going through her story. She's trying to find her dad, so it's kind of like swapped, and
she's getting followed by some detective, and she's no idea what's going on.
no idea. The detective is following her. She has no idea what's going on.
And she's a teenage girl.
She's a teenage girl. She's 17 years old in the series, and or in the game.
Just think how you were in your mentality and your thought process at 17.
Yeah, and then she also runs into a cult, which is, always exciting to do so. And without saying too much more, it's basically her exploring mostly her story, not about finding out what she's done or anything, but it's finding about who she is and finding out about her and her life and finding her true self. I guess you could say.
So, things I want to point out that makes reasons why this is one of my favorites. This is my favorite Silent Hill, not one of my favorites. Okay, one of my favorites.
I can't pick a Silent Hill. Mine changes like every other week. I'm like,
I say that with the technicality of one, which we'll discuss.
they all
at
have
the
their
end.
own individual, like,
Oh, the technicality of one that had a tragic end. You know the context.
yeah.
We'll explain. But the things that impressed me about Silent Hill 2, as a young preteen or young teen, my main character is a female.
Yeah.
And not just a female. Not overly sexualized. Has teenage emotions. Literally reacting like how a teenager actually would versus how you would expect grown-ups act. And like I said, one of the first female heroines. The other heroines that you had at this point that you actually played as was Jill Valentine in Resident Evil 3, Claire Redfield in Resident Evil 2, Parasite Eve, and games like this. But this is the one that just made a special home in my heart because of that and the story. And it has one of the best lines of all the Silent Hill franchise, I think. Which I'll explain when we go into the psychology of it. When we talk about the psychology for this one alone.
Yeah.
And I will tell you what the line is then. But that's my personal feelings of this one.
Yeah. Silent Hill 3 has, I think I was like 12 years old when I first played it, and back then I didn't really understand much about Heather, but then I was replaying it a couple months ago before our panel, and I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, like, she really hits different, and like I didn't really, because 2 for the longest time was like hardcore my favorite, but like 3, now that I'm older and I see like the different things she has to deal with, and like, I mean, I was 12, so there's not much I understood at that point in my age, but now that I'm like an adult and I've been through puberty, I guess, and like I understand a little bit more, I'm like, wow, she really, that's like a lot, like, and she's one of those characters, she's like, she's a badass. I can't describe her in any other way. Like, she really is, even through her thick and thin, like, she's a badass.
Like, her emotional response are literally hormone driven.
Yeah.
The reaction she has to the detective based on how women have to like be on guard in this modern society, like it all makes sense. And it's played brilliantly versus, and she's smart, she's not dumb, versus when you dealt with James, who you're just berating half the time because he's an idiot.
James, yeah, he does, but Heather has some really good moments, and like one of my favorite moments, if you've like ever played the game, is when she's in the monastery, I believe, and she goes and walks into like the confession booth, and somebody's like speaking to her, and she just sits there and like listens. It's like a really big, like, that's like one of my favorite moments in the whole game. Do you remember that moment?
I actually do. I don't know if I actually got the decided to actually explore the confession.
Yeah, because you can go in the confession. It's completely optional, but you can go in there. I'll show it to you later. It's like one of my favorite, like it's like, I remember playing that and I was like, oh my gosh, like she really, for her, like and I think she answers at one point too, but it's a good moment. My whole, like, I was like, wow, she's awesome.
So with Silent Hill 3 behind, well, first before then, the last thing we still need to do is the trailer. What caused this one?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear.
come to witness the beginning, the rebirth of paradise, despoiled by mankind.
What are you talking about?
Don't you know? Your power is needed. Remember me, and your true self as well. Also, that which you must become. The one who will lead us to paradise with blood-stained hands.
When am I going to wake up?
I still feel like I'm dreaming.
More like a nightmare, I'd say.
Love it. You know what was the first, you know what the first introduction we had thanks to this one? This is the first time we were introduced to, I think it's Robbie the Rabbit?
Yes.
The mascot.
The mascot of, like, Silent Hill, yeah. One of the mascots, I would say, because Pyramid Head is definitely mascot of the series. Robbie the Rabbit is a big one, too. Even though Robbie does not do anything. He is just there.
And the worst part is, as a mascot, he only appears in, like, what?
One game. Yeah,
no, 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah. Isn't he part of, there's a Robbie doll, right?
Yep, you see the doll in the girl's room.
Yes, yeah, in Eileen's room, yeah.
And that's it.
And it's like an Easter egg, too. It's because you have to look, when we go to 4, there's a peephole that you can look through into your neighbor's wall, and that's how you see it. And it's a certain time. Oh, and there's also there's also another in Silent Hill 4. Now that I'm thinking about it, I believe there's also a hot air balloon Robbie. If you look outside the window and you can see him like floating. I think I could totally be wrong about this, but I'm in the back of my head. I think I'm right.
Can I point out the crime that was committed there?
Yes.
The crime of peeping into your neighbor. That's basically the equivalent of drilling a hole in the boys' locker room to look in the girls' locker room.
Yeah, but it wasn't Henry. Let's put that clear.
Let's put it like this though. He has some decency.
Yeah.
But what was introduced in this one was they did in the other one, I think, too, as well. But they introduced a theme song that has lyrics.
Yeah, You're Not Here.
You're Not Here, and then Letters to Your Past Self. Were 2 theme songs sung.
And then I Want Love is also a part of that, like, little, like, with lyrics, but I don't think I Want Love is...
As remembered.
I don't think it's in the game. I think it's only...
On the soundtrack?
On the soundtrack, yeah.
That would explain why I don't remember it. I just remember
I can't remember
from
if it's
in-game.
in the game. Yeah.
And they're beautiful songs. Which, guess Easter egg time. So, Fatal Frames, Suki Amino, main singer who does most of the music for basically all the Fatal Frames, minus the first one, is the same person who's not the same person, but is equivalent to Silent Hill in Akira, I believe is their name.
Yeah.
He does all the music for the Silent Hill franchise, but I think he didn't do it for the first one. If he did not produce a vocal song.
No, there was no vocal song.
And there's no real music. It's all just kind of ambient music, but kind of really...
Yeah, Silent Hill, the first one, does not...
Experiment.
Yeah, it's not really... There are songs, that like people still listen to, but I can't remember if it's composed by him or not. But in the second one, Akira Yamaoka then produced almost every single.
His name is like known. Like
Yeah.
if you know Silent Hill, you know him.
Yeah, and a lot of people, the speculated game and everything, he's on the soundtrack for that too. Speculated. So that's excited. But if you know he's on it, you know
there's
it's gonna be
probably
a good
one.
game. Yeah.
Well, I know if you know he's on, then you know there's probably one in the works. Just saying.
Yeah, hopefully. And what we're gonna talk about later with the Dead by Daylight, like Silent Hill pack, it's a really, really good sign because that means Konami's actually allowing people use of the Silent Hill franchise, which I believe they weren't doing before. I mean, they did, but they were very, very, and still are, very guarded with what they release with their content.
So, with 3 behind and all of our little trivia facts thrown in there, we're going to talk about Silent Hill 4, The Room. The first one to actually get a tagline added to it that wasn't just Silent Hill.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
This one introduced the usage of taglines.
Mm-hmm. The Room.
Or
and
subtitles. Yeah, subtitles, not taglines, because they have taglines.
Yeah, but not Tommy Wiseau's The Room, unfortunately, which I love. I don't know if you've ever seen the memes for Silent Hill 4, but those are really good too. I like those. Or like Room with Brie Larson. There's so many jokes. I love it. If you've never played Silent Hill 4, it is a game and a half. Like, I can't describe. It is frustrating. It is compelling. It is everything in between. Silent Hill 4 is a unique game in its own. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people love it. It's just what you think. It strays completely different from the previous 3 games. It's just unique. And so...
It's one of those games that literally it divided the fan base. Half of them basically like it. Half of them hated it.
It really
had
depends.
Something to say negatively about it. And it's one of those games that's just, it's the last of Team Konami. This is Silent Hill 1 through 4 is all of the games they personally worked.
Yeah, Team Silent did Silent Hill 1 through 4, and then when it jumps on to the games made afterwards, they're all produced by the American Konami team. So Silent Hill 1 through 4 is really the main 4 that we love and cherish.
The cream of the crop.
Yes, made by the Japanese team. And you always know if it's made by a Japanese team, I don't know. To me, I get more scared because the, Western horror is definitely...
Jump scary.
It's jump scare. Its purpose is to scare you as much as it can. And
No. The Western creators are focused on jump scaring, startling you.
Yes. And it doesn't even have to have any sort of point. It's just like, if it can scare you, it'll scare you. I want to say mostly Japanese games are more psychological. Even Korean. I mean, I've never played a Korean.
They build more. The Eastern ones build more ambience. They build up the suspension.
Mm-hmm.
They build it up to that climax moment to bring you to your terror.
Yes, exactly, 100%. And even the movies, Eastern movies, especially Korean and Japanese horror, are completely different than, Western horror movies.
I want to say that there is only one more after this one that redeemed the love for the Silent Hill franchise.
Yeah.
And actually, this is where I'll get to that later. I will show you a visual representation of basically how the fan base looked by the end of the Silent Hill franchise. But how would you describe Silent Hill 4 without giving away my plot?
how do you describe Silent Hill 4 when there's just so much love about it?
You know
Silent
an escape room?
Yes. Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah. Basically, Silent Hill 4 is about Henry Townsend, and he gets locked in his apartment mysteriously, and with that, he has to find his way out. That's how he also peeps into his like neighbor Eileen. She's a part of the story as well. It's a interesting take, and it doesn't actually go through Silent Hill. The Silent Hill is in his room, which is a way unique, different like way of looking at it. So and it takes place in his apartment complex, and he goes through actually a hole in his bathroom, and with that he goes through all these different worlds trying to get out of his apartment, and it can be very frustrating, especially because you have to keep going through these like different worlds, but without that it's really hard to say like how he finds his way. Any thoughts, words?
It's also the first franchise where they introduced a new type of enemy. Probably that they gained inspiration from the Fatal Frame series by introducing a ghost aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of just having a monsters.
Mm-hmm.
They have ghosts, which, as we all know, you can't hit a ghost.
Yeah.
This is an idea of what your door looks like.
Yeah.
Isn't it an accurate representation? I think it's beautiful.
Wait, let me draw something.
Okay.
You can't forget the best part.
Uh-oh.
The little,
Oh, yeah, the peephole.
no, don't go out. Walter. He has a little thing.
And a peephole.
Oh, yeah. So you can see the people.
But, yeah, I felt like just give me a visual representation of your escape the room scenario.
The door is you cannot get out no matter how hard you try. And it's so funny because people can't hear you. Like, you would be like, Henry, just scream, but that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Nothing helps, so I mean,
you get notes under your door.
yeah. Henry, I would say, is the most chill like protagonist out of all the games. He's like, what the hell? What the hell? And I can't describe it. He's so stupid and funny, but I have much love for him.
So, 2 fun trivias about this one. This one also had 2 songs of vocal lyrics in it. One of them was Room of Angels, which is a really nice one. Then the other one was like more of a like J-pop sort of thing or something like that. I don't know.
Cynthia's song.
Cynthia's something rain.
Yeah. I know. Because that one is in DDR.
That's
you can
what I
play
was
it.
gonna say.
Yeah,
So
you can play it, and
the
I'm like,
fun part about that is, I guess Konami.
Your Rain, I think it's called. Yeah, Your Rain.
The Konami did, I guess, some collaboration with DDR or something, or they own DDR.
They own. Yeah, Konami owns
Okay,
DDR.
so that makes sense. So in DDR, you can actually play "You're Not Here" from Silent Hill 3 and "Your Rain" from Silent Hill 4.
Yeah.
Just some fun tidbits of information.
And it's the best part because I remember I was playing DDR and like some random arcade ones, and I found it and I was like, oh, what the heck? And Cynthia
So you played it, right?
Yeah, I've played both songs.
No, you played it public, right?
Public?
Yeah, you played the song in public.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I gotta support my Silent Hill.
Gotta represent.
Gotta represent. But Cynthia's not one of my favorite characters, but she is like in this she's like in the rain, and I was like so embarrassed. And then Heather sings and You're Not Here. She's like singing the song, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute.
Basically, the representation of Flashdance. I think it's Flashdance or whatever at the end, where they're just like.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So you know that stereotype, but. Let us show you the trailer for 4. last trailer we show you for these series because it kind of goes downhill from here. Hi, get it, Hill?
Yeah.
But, this is prime Silent Hill era.
Yeah.
But with every era, it must come to an end.
It must come to a sad, sad end where the American creators come in and fix it and ruin it. Can't say they fix it. They don't fix anything.
Fix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fix.